Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. As somebody who's also aware and conscious of personal branding, so in my day job, I do leadership training and that kind of consulting stuff. And one of the great consistent things about how you come out into the world, I was hoping to have images that you yourself made. And I learned that, well, this isn't really how you want to go into the world, showing the sort of the more personal side. And so, for example, the images of you on a ship, it is all very dark. Okay, so you're essentially standing on the left side of the image, and you're standing on like a kind of a gangway, and it's all black metal and wood. There's the ocean behind you and a white sky, not many clouds. The one bit of color is a life preserver in yellow. Next to it is maybe a buoy, which is in the fluorescent orange. It's just, and then you're standing, I guess, in khakis or something, in a white shirt, and there's your hair in the wind, and it's the full-on Captain Paul Watson out at sea. In a way, it's an icon, like just like the other image of you with Sea Shepherd, just looking straight on at the viewer. In this image, describe the day that image was made.
I believe that's a photograph by Joanne MacArthur. Here's the thing: I don't take pictures myself. I don't do video. It's not my talent, and I'm not going to pretend to be so. Certainly delegate that position to numerous skilled and wonderful photographers, whether that be Gary Stokes or Joanne MacArthur or Rob Stewart or so many others that have come with us. Barbara Vega's another one. They're the ones who do that job, and they do it well. And so I would never even presume to compete with that kind of talent. So I've never actually taken a photograph of anything, but I certainly do put photographers in a position to capture images, not of myself really, but capture images of the actions, of the campaigns, of our client.
Mm-hmm. I think every time you say campaigns, I hear a bell. Okay, so I've spent the past, 13 to 15 years working with a very successful business person who helped build a global service network, right? And so we really looked at the ingredients of leadership and how to separate leadership from management. And in terms of your development as a leader on your ships, right? So let's go back to the early days of when you decided I'm going to form Sea Shepherd. It is a reflection and a representation of the founder, of your spirit. And I think that's what people really connect to Sea Shepherd. So describe how those early days evolved. The decision to say, you know what, I'm going to go with this alone maybe, or I'm going to venture off and start something new, put out into the world with a new kind of message. So can you go back to those days and try to reaccess those feelings of how that came about and what triggered that evolution?
Well, you do what you have to do. One of the most valuable lessons that I ever learned was in 1973 during the occupation of Wounded Knee in South Dakota by the American Indian Movement. I had volunteered for the American Indian Movement to be a medic during that occupation. And we were surrounded by about 3,000 federal troops who were shooting at us, 20,000 rounds a night. They wounded 46, killed 2.
Oh, wow.
I went to Russell Means, who is the leader of the American Indian Movement. And I said, look, the odds are against us. We have no hope of winning. Why are we here? And he said something that stayed with me forever, which is that he said, well, we're not worried about the odds against us, and we're not concerned about winning or losing. We're here because it's the right thing to do, the right place to do it, and the right time to do it. He said, don't worry about the future. Focus on the present. Everything you do in the present will define what the future will be. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I've done ever since. I don't worry about the future. I've always focused on the present. What can I do in the now? What I started as an organization is now a movement. It's beyond my control, and that's great. That's what I always wanted, the evolution of an organization into a global movement. And one of the things, my sort of brand of leadership, I guess, is to delegate. to delegate positions into authority in that. On ships, we run our ships by chain of command. As captain, I only speak to the chief officer, the chief cook, and the chief engineer, and they carry on those, relay those orders down along the line. That's how the ships are run. With the Sea Shepherd today, what I do is basically nothing in regard to that. The directors run their countries, the captains run their ships, and I'm available really for advice, but I don't give orders. And that's is what made us successful as a movement. Mm-hmm. Many years ago, Bob Hunter said, look, when you get power, just let it go. Don't hold on to it. And that's the only thing you can really do.
So if we're to think of Sea Shepherd as a kind of this emerging, visualize something like the roots of a tree or the branches of a tree, that with each year, each branch gets thicker. Some of them become trunks. Some of them give the branch off to create other sub-branches and all this stuff. And part of the movement of it is that it becomes a much wider network, right? So, like, how expansive is Sea Shepherd right now? And what about the vision of where it will go and how it will be?
It'll be what it'll be. I don't really concern myself, again, to the future. It's growing, it's evolving as a movement. Sea Shepherd today is under the direction of its directors, like Lamia Samlami runs operations in France, Jeff Hansen in Australia, Mike Lowry in New Zealand. We're in Italy, we're in Germany, we're in 42 different various nations, and it's all running. I can't even keep track of the campaign that we're doing right now. There's so many of them, and that's good. That's what I'd like. Yeah. But the other thing that too is anytime a movement or an organization or a movement grows, there's always going to be dissent within that. People who want to see it go in a different direction or want to do something else. And what we've done with that is, instead of fighting with people like that, we simply assist them in going in another direction. And sometimes that opposition is there's an animosity, and sometimes it's just friendly. It's just a disagreement of where we need to go. Mm-hmm. Back in when 1979, I had a crew member who wanted to get involved with protecting animals in laboratories. He wanted to stop cruelty to animals in laboratories. I said, well, we can't do that. This is Sea Shepherd. I said, but if you're so passionate about it, why don't you do something about it yourself? Mm-hmm. And he said, well, I do. I said, use your imagination. Do something. So he went back to the U.S., got a job in a laboratory, exposed all of the stuff that was happening there, the cruelty, took it to the Washington Post and to the TV networks, closed down the laboratory, and then he established an organization called the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, which came out of our crew members. Right now, Pia Klemp, she is the captain of the Banksy vessel, which is rescuing refugees in the Mediterranean. Mm-hmm. That was where her passion was going. Yeah. Gary Stokes actually, was a photographer with Sea Shepherd, and now is running animals, Oceans Asia, and there's so many examples of people who wanting to do this. I mean, Rob Stewart was involved with Sea Shepherd. That's how his first campaign, began filming sharks on board a Sea Shepherd vessel and everything. So we encourage people to go there, to follow their heart, to follow their passion, and to do so within the context of their abilities. And I think that works out quite well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the track record is really amazing.
Because what we do is not everybody's cup of tea. What is Sea Shepherd? Sea Shepherd is an anti-poaching organization. We don't protest, we intervene. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. People want to do something in another vein, then we certainly encourage that. But we are consistent with what our approach is, and that is interception against illegal activities. We have always operated within the boundaries of both practicality and the law. Mm-hmm. So after 43 years, we've never been convicted of a felony, and we've never injured or anybody, nor have we ever sustained any injuries.
That's definitely something that I had Gary on the podcast, and that's one thing he was very clear about, is like he really thought that it was the perfect tension, I guess, between doing what is lawful, but also what is necessary to stop what is unethical and highly immoral in many cases. So when was there something like I would call a happy accident where you couldn't have expected a really positive outcome that just out of the blue that you would have never been able to anticipate emerged, and that was obviously related to your energy and your work? So can you think of a time that you had, basically a happy accident?
I think that it's an evolution of experiences. When I was 10 years old, I spent the summer swimming with a family of beavers. And the next summer when I went back, they were all gone. I found that trappers had taken them all, and that made me quite angry. And that winter, I began to walk the trap lines and to destroy the traps and to free the animals. Then later in 1975, on the first Greenpeace campaign to protect the whales, I was in a situation where a whale could have taken my life. And I could see that the whale understood what we were trying to do, and the effort he made to not come down and crash upon our vessel. And when I looked into the eye of that dying whale, and what I saw there really changed my life. Not only did I see understanding, but I also saw pity. Not for him, for us, that we could take life so unthinkingly, without any compassion at all. And I said to myself, why? Why are these whales being killed? The Russians were killing sperm whales not to eat, but for oil, spermaceti oil and sperm oil. And that was highly prized, especially in the munitions industry, where they were making intercontinental ballistic missiles using spermaceti oil as a high heat-resistant oil. And I said, here we are killing this incredibly beautiful, socially complex, self-aware, intelligent creature for the purpose of making a weapon meant for the mass extermination of human beings. And that's when it struck me, as a species, we're insane. And from that moment on, I said, look, I don't do this for people. I do it for them. I do this for all the creatures in the sea. And that's what motivates me today. I look at this planet as a spaceship, which is what it is.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, we're a spaceship going around the Milky Way galaxy in this incredible voyage at incredible speeds. And every spaceship has a life support system. And that life support system provides us with the air we breathe, regulates climate and temperature, provides the food we eat. And that life support system is run by a crew of Earthlings, all of those species that make it possible. Not our humans. We're a bunch of passengers having a wonderful time, amusing ourselves. But what we are doing is murdering crew members. We're killing them. Only so many crew members you can kill before the machinery begins to fall apart and is no longer capable of supporting life. So really, if we kill off the crew members, we kill ourselves. That's why I say all the time, the ocean dies, we all die.
No, of course.
If phytoplankton disappears today, we no longer exist. Phytoplankton provides 70% of the oxygen that we breathe. And I don't think people even think about that. And the reason they don't think about it is because we're all involved in this collective form of mass psychosis called anthropocentrism. Where
hold on, Paul.
What?
The thing. Okay, look. Part of, I think, the magic of this podcast works when you and I converse and exchange, like around a fireside chat, right? And with all due respect, and this is with all due respect. Let's move on to the next photograph, because when I was really inspired, the thing that motivated me and it gave me that energy and drive wasn't necessarily information. It was like that emotional trigger, right? And so what I'm trying to get is to create that expression of those of what resonates in you to hopefully resonate in other people. And it's true that when you speak, what you say is just dead on. Like, it's really sharp. So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it